Okay, welcome to Project Cars Anonymous. Let's begin with our prayer. Car gods, grant me the serenity to accept the cars I cannot, the courage to restore the ones I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Today we're going to go over our 12-step program to recovery. We're all here as a reminder for some of you new guys in the back. We're here because we have a problem. All right, we're all addicted to cars. We typically buy things that are way outside of our range. We underestimate the time, tools, skills, and space required to finish these projects. It doesn't matter if you have one car or 24 cars. Bob has 24 cars. He's going to get up and share later. But, the whole point is that we are here to support each other. We're not here to bring each other down. Okay, a couple of the ground rules before we get going. Please don't make fun of people when they come up here and share. All right, it's a vulnerable time, and I know sometimes things that are funny come out, but just try to, if we're laughing together, that's one thing. Don't laugh at the person sharing. All right, come on. We got to do better. We're going to talk about calling your sponsor. Truth be told, this is one of the things that I feel like our group does not capitalize on enough. You got to call your sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor yet, you can write on your intake form a little bit about where you are, on the 12 steps. If you're brand new, you can list that kind of stuff, and we will match you with a good sponsor that can help you in times of need. All right, the sponsor, there's going to be some testimonies later today where some members will share some powerful stuff. All right, they were in the trenches, spiraling, scrolling marketplace, bring a trailer, cars and bids. All right, and their sponsors have been very helpful for them, even in the, selling projects that they're not going to finish, all kinds of things like that. Where to find parts, deals. Delusion versus reality. This is something that we always talk about. All right, how much is the project, costing in reality versus the delusional mindset that you have had or still have, in terms of the time that it's going to take, which tools you're going to need. Do you have the space? All right. Do you have the physical space? Do you have the mental space? Does your spouse approve of your space? It gets kind of hairy. But that is something, delusion versus reality. This is like one of the pillars of Project Cars Anonymous is we can help each other sometimes. Look, sometimes we're going to sport that delusion. If it's a good enough deal, if it's a rare enough car, not a soul in this place is going to discourage you from buying it. But there are times, if it's something roached and undesirable, needs way too much, sometimes a very common one is that we're delusional about, how much we've invested in the car and how much we're going to get out later, all right? How much enjoyment are you going to get out of the car that you've been building for 14 years, Joe? And, you got 30 grand into it and the car's worth $4,500, all right? And you still have months to go, Joe. I can only say this. I've talked to Joe already. We've had this discussion. He's fine with me sharing his story, but, that's really what's happening, okay? And that's not exclusive to Joe, all right? I've got the same scenario. Bob, 24 cars, definitely knows what I'm talking about, and every single one of you guys knows about this. So it's really about just admitting that we have the problem. We're not here to shame each other, okay? Let me just say that. I can't say that enough. We're not here to shame each other unless you welcome it. All right, unless you're like Derek, who keeps telling the Snap-on truck guy where we're located. If you do that, then we are going to hammer you hard, all right? We're going to probably talk you into the stupidest things you could do. But typically, we're not really here to shame each other. It is, progress over perfection, okay? One of the staples to being a project car guy is get the car to a place where you can drive it. Lower your expectations dramatically. All right, because even the slightest bit of enjoyment out of a project car can get you over, some of the mental hurdles that we're in. You're in a valley, you take that baby around the road a little bit, you get a little bit of sense, you can smell some oil and some gas, and that's going to set you in a new in a new level of project car motivation, all right? Which we talk about that all the time. Where's my pen here? We talk about it all the time, okay? It's like a wave or a mountain range. Look, you see that? These are the peaks. This is the valley. And you guys know that with projects, it's kind of like this. Or for some of us, it's just like this. I haven't touched my Lotus in 3.5 years. That's me being vulnerable with you guys, okay? And I come to these meetings. Yes, I'm sort of, I'm leading the meetings just to get you guys started, but you guys help me, okay? When I hear that Tom actually got himself to a point where he pulled all of the stuff that was blocking his project that he couldn't even get himself to look at for 3 years. Well, it's like, how many? 5 years. 5 years, Tom couldn't even get himself to get to that part of the garage. When I heard last week that Tom got himself to just uncover and just to look at a part of his car, that motivated me. That made me say, maybe I can do that with my project. Maybe I can get to myself to a point where I can look at my Lotus and actually maybe order some parts for it or build some momentum. I haven't finished a project since 2014. And I know some of you guys don't even think I ever did that, but I have photos. So I will show you later. Okay? Not right now. I didn't bring them today, but I will bring them. Okay. Member confessions. We're going to go ahead and have some time where you guys can get up and just share a brief thing. And I look forward to hearing it. Thank you guys so much for coming to the meeting. Intake forms are in the back. There's coffee. And what can I say? Thank you. And be bold. All right? The first step is admitting that you have a problem. Not every one of us has the same kind of problem. Not every one of us even wants to identify it as a problem because our lives are different. I know I got a problem. All right? But I know that there's a couple of us, they're not actually here today, but there's a couple of us that actually are doing pretty good. They're actually finishing projects. Part of the reason they're not here. We need them here. We need them to come here. So tell your friends who are actually getting things done to please show up to the meetings. All right, guys. Yep, you're up first. Come on.